Well, Carl, like you said, just before we came on, he says you never like to be the story. You are the story, and we're glad that we were able to get you the first week laid off from WHTK, no longer working radio sports, and it's an indication. I mean, this is a trend that's been going on for years now. Where do you see it headed?
Yeah. I think this is not the beginning, because certainly if you look at the newspaper, the way the newspaper has gone from a staff that covered everything that happened in Rochester now down to a few guys, and it's basically the USA Today with a little bit of a local thing. I think media has changed so much in the internet age, maybe more than anything else. The way they sell it, the way they produce it, the fact that we can get so many things for free. Big companies like iHeart, my former employer, and Entercom, your employer, they look at dollars and cents. That's their bottom line. That's what they've got to do. They got to answer to their shareholders, and I get that. But for the local person, the local fan, think of here in Rochester. There are a lot of teams, a lot of stories that simply aren't going to get the coverage that they used to. So the fans are the ones that suffer, and as long as big companies own all the media, and that's kind of the direction this country's going in, it's only going to get more so of a national media and very, very small footprint locally.
Now, you guys are like the survivors, because morning radio is still got a footprint.
For now, I mean, listen, I look at it this way. I came in the business, much after a lot of my contemporaries, so I walked in knowing that I'm probably going to lose my job in a way. I'm going to end my job in a way that I don't want. Like, I'm going to get fired one day, just going to have fun until I get fired. But, to your point.
You really thought that?
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, I made a joke before we came out. I did stand-up comedy, I do radio. I'm going to get into ventriloquism for a little more job security, right? But, like, when it comes to local sports, it's a nightmare, because there was a time 25 years ago, and I don't mean to sound like, old man standing on his lawn, but you were able to follow the Amerks, and you were able to follow the Red Wings, and you knew the names of the players, and you knew where they were in their pennant races and playoff chases, and now that doesn't exist. The DNC doesn't send a writer to Red Wings games on a game-by-game basis anymore. Like, it's absolutely insane. It hurts the franchises in town, so then the franchises have to turn around and do their own promotion, which isn't exactly the most accurate and the things that you want to read about. So yes, I mean, in trying to chase a dollar, we've lost sight of what local sports is, and I don't know if that's fixable. I do know it opens up a pocket for folks that are passionate about it, that want to cover it, and there are people around the country that have made a living doing it, but there's no money in it anymore, so that's going to deter people who went to college, who are very good at it, and you know what I'm saying. It's a vicious cycle. I don't know where it goes from here.
And sports is just a small part of it. I mean, there's
Correct.
You mentioned the newspaper. I thought do you remember when there were two papers here?
Yeah.
You go back that far?
I think I took a tour when I was in like 5th grade, like 2 weeks before they shut down the Times-Union. Legit.
Yeah. But there's all this, and I see it as like you're cutting the supply line to people who are gonna be required to do important work down the road, and they're not getting trained.
It's you think about a young kid. I want to go into media. I want to,
And there's fewer of those out there.
Fewer of those. There's fewer opportunities when they get out. Kids are getting out with 40-year degrees with dreams of, being on air and doing all the things they want to do. Those opportunities are dwindling. I was one of 1,000 people nationwide and one of the largest media companies in the country that were let go. 8% of their workforce. It's just getting smaller and smaller and more difficult. And then the coverage and the fans and the people, the readers, the listeners, they're the ones that ultimately suffer.
And to your credit, I think it has to be said that people got to know how hard you worked at it. I mean, you were part-time for how many years just waiting for the chance. You got the chance, you made good on it. It's just, it's difficult. You don't want to make it, a tragedy any worse than it is. It is what it is. But you went about it, I think, in the right way.
I tried very hard to be good at what I did. It was just my personality. It was a passion, and I tried hard to do it, and hopefully I'll get a chance to try it again.